If you've been tasked with creating some sales reporting for your stakeholders, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Brian Amrine with Value Driven Analytics, and in this video, I'll provide all kinds of advice on things to consider when creating sales reporting. If that sounds good to you, let's head over to our PowerPoint. Now, last session, we had 4 example requests that we covered, and I'd love to know in the comments section what kind of solution you came up with based on the tools and techniques we talked about last time. But right now, I'm going to share how I would typically approach each of these example requests. The first one was a stakeholder might ask, I'd like to have some visibility into how our sales are performing. Okay, well, one important thing to consider, just for starters, is what time period we're looking at. We might want to look at sales over the last day, over the last week, month, quarter. It just depends on what they're looking to do. Now, it's good to create, in this case, I would use an interactive dashboarding tool like Power BI or Tableau. But when you create that, it's good to bake in a lot of flexibility into it. So I would probably set up a dashboard that has the ability to see how sales have looked daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, perhaps even. And that might be a filter option to see what cadence do you want this broken down by. And I wouldn't just show it, for instance, if they chose daily, I wouldn't just show the data for the last day. They need to have some means of comparison, a baseline to compare it to. That could be what it was yesterday, what that day's information was last year. We talked about looking at things year over year for seasonality purposes, maybe both, or maybe the organization has a monthly, weekly, or daily goal, sometimes called AOP or annual operating plan, that we could compare against. So we don't just want to show for the last day what were sales. We need something to compare it to know whether that was a good day or a bad day. So I would tend to trend it out over time so that you do have history to compare it to. Definitely compare it to last year as well for a more seasonally adjusted comparison. And if the organization has a goal, I would compare it to that as well. Now, I'd also want to bake into it, especially if we're building it in an interactive dashboarding platform, well, why not bake in some interactivity to it? What if the organization wants to look at a particular geography and drill in and or maybe even see, well, okay, we're doing okay. Where did we do well versus where did we maybe fall short? And so you might want to have an option to break down this sales reporting and the baseline we're comparing sales to, break that down by geography or maybe certain business segments, all kinds of things you could break that down by. I would make sure this dashboard has plenty of filters so that a user doesn't have to come back to the analyst to get a new view for a certain business segment or geography. It's all self-service. They can do that on their own. And maybe even some views. You can sometimes use parameters in a Tableau or Power BI dashboard to break down what that sales comparison looks like by certain business segments or by certain geographies. If you like this video, I hope you'll consider liking it formally. And if you'd like to see more analytics, data science, and leadership training videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Finally, if you have any questions on what we discussed today, please leave a comment and I'll try to respond to it as soon as possible. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.